Jump aboard the backlog boat. Robert, Jake, Stephanie will keep you afloat. Podcasting all night, sailing through the waves, talking games, movies, and the stardust they crave. They dive deep into the stories untold, exploring worlds with secrets so bold. Their voices echo through the recording mic, taking us on an adventure. Just hold on tight. Backlog Boat, it's a podcast treasure, sailing through episodes, limitless pleasure. Join the crew and let your mind go free. The Backlog Boat, a journey you'll never want to leave.
Welcome to the 17th episode of The Backlog Boat. As always, I'm your captain, Roberto Gonzalez. To my left, we have the doctor.
Hello.
And even further to my left, we have the navigator.
What's up?
So it's been
Welcome to another episode of Jake Complains About Things.
and it's been another 2 months. So, what y'all do over these past 2 months?
Stephanie, what'd you do?
All right then. Actually, kind of did a lot of things. The last month, I made an AO3 account, and I guess Robert understands why this happened. So that was interesting, and it's been an interesting time. On top of that, I am taking college classes again, so that's not fun, but it's pretty easy since it's all online.
For
And
what?
It's to get like another certification, like a substance use disorder certification. So
Cringe.
let me tell you, but it'll help with like my profession. And then I actually presented at a conference, and that was not the best time of my life, but here we are.
So did you win an award at the conference? Did you get a standing ovation?
A lot of people liked our presentation, but it wasn't like, oh, if you have like the best in show, you get extra. It's kind of more like, hey, we paid you for your time, and maybe we'll see you at the next one.
What was your talk about?
BIPOC women in behavioral health settings.
Blank women in behavioral settings? What the fuck was the first thing you said?
BIPOC,
What is BIPOC?
Black, Indigenous, person of color.
Are you either of those?
So person of color encompasses all of the rest of races. So yes, I am a Latina. So
I think
Okay.
Jake was taking it as Black, Indigenous,
Yes.
person
That
of
is
color.
absolutely what I
Instead
thought.
of
oh,
Black,
and
Indigenous, and person of color.
oh my bad, JK.
To be like, there's a lot more ingredients to this soup than I thought there was.
Jake's like, wait, are you Black?
Do we have a pass on our podcast? Can we say it?
I'm sorry.
You know what? Let's just keep going.
Right, I was like, who else wants to go? What else happened?
I was like, I can make a joke, but we're going down a path.
You'd edit it out. Anyway, you fucking coward.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Well, anyway, so continuing on, I'm just glad it's over. Like, you have no idea. The other presenter with me, we did everything so last minute. It was the worst time I've ever had in my life. And we knew that we got accepted for this conference since July. And we just got everything finished literally the week of.
That's how I like to live life.
I hated it. I hated everything. Also, too, it was all online. So they had like their own website. It was just 10 out of 10 would not ever recommend. And I will not ever do ever
Was this
again.
during a work day, or was it on your free time?
Honestly, both. So it was during, well, it was supposed to be during work time, but there would be points where, like, the co-presenter, she would reach out like way before work hours or way after work hours or during the weekend. And it was just wild because, again, everything got done probably like the Friday before the weekend. And then we still had to edit it since it was so long and some of the information like didn't pertain to what we were talking about. So, not a
Bro,
good
your
time.
job is fucking booty cheeks. I would not be working on a weekend.
Let me tell you. Anyway, so here we are.
Well, I mean, congratulations on presenting at a conference. I haven't even had to do a presentation in front of a group of people for probably over 10 years.
We're supposed to.
That's not accurate.
What was that?
Oh, I was gonna say that's not accurate. I was about to say you had helped me during that one event. Remember? Not
Oh,
exactly
okay,
10 years ago.
but that wasn't like a presentation I had to prepare for. It was just like emceeing to college kids that were drunk. So like that I didn't even go to that college. So it's like, where's the pressure?
And then also too, there's that family one. Anyway, continuing.
I know we have to give one every year, but I managed to avoid it this year.
Why do you have to give one?
Just part of our corporate goals.
Like you just get up in front of your coworkers and do a presentation?
Yeah, we're supposed to.
On what?
Well, I use shit that nobody else knows how to use in our company, so it'd probably be on that. / I've built shit that nobody knows how to use at our company, so it'd also probably be on that.
But is it like educational or is it, hey, this is what I've did this year?
No, it's supposed to be, well, both. It's supposed to make you look good in front of your boss, and you're supposed to inform other people about the thing you discovered or the tool you made that's supposed to increase productivity, blah, 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 corporate bullshit.
Sounds like the company just wants you to tell on yourself.
I had to write an email sucking my own dick this week.
You know, haven't had to do that ever. So
my boss is like, yeah, I legit am in charge of 200 people, so I literally have no fucking idea what you do with your day. So give me an email about your accomplishments before your employee review. I'm like, okay.
How did that go?
I wrote the email sucking my own dick, and he's like, thanks. And I sent it to him. I wrote it now. I won't get that employee review in like 6 months. I think we get him back in March.
Damn. Well, what did you do, Jake, throughout these 2 months?
Listened to a bunch of live music and played a bunch of music. So it's more like, what did we do, comrade?
I guess we did have a mini jam session, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it was a really small jam session. Brought my bass over to Rob's. We only played one fucking song.
I mean, I have like 2 or 3 songs that I'm learning, but some of them just for myself. Like,
Well, I meant when we were playing them together.
yeah. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, and then I think a week or two after, my sister came over with her brand new electric drum set, and then we did it again.
It was real fun stuff. You should have been there, Stephanie. It was
Did you guys record it?
hell no.
Oh, fair.
I
No
did get a
evidence
hold
of this.
of that Telecaster that I bought in July. It finally came off ordnance. And it turns out I'm really fucking bad at guitar. But what it made me realize is I am way better at bass than I fucking thought I was.
Which is good.
Like, trying to play the guitar and then sucking ass at it and then pick up a bass right after just made me realize how fucking comfortable I am at bass. So I have been schmoovin' this year. I have developed a new skill.
Nice.
I am comfortable on all 4 strings. I can play plucking or with a pick. Slapping does not seem like an impossible feat like it used to at the beginning of the year.
Growth.
I know way more about music theory than I ever thought I would.
That also happened to be the day after Jocelyn's birthday. Was the first time that we practiced when it was just Jake and I.
Mm-hmm.
It was my sister's birthday, and you know what? She doesn't listen to this podcast, so I'll just say it. Parties with kids, fucking boring. Like babies and kids around, I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I know my parties aren't wild or anything, but like, Jake and I sat sitting there listening to Aiden. I love Aiden. Telling these fucking stories.
What was one of the stories? I gotta know.
He doesn't know how to tell stories.
Oh, JK. Well,
he really wanted me to go in the bouncy castle with him, but I threw out my back playing frisbee golf earlier that week. So I was like, nah, bro, I'll die. So then he pushed me, and then I was like, I'm about to send this fucking kid to the Shadow Realm. I'm about to fucking goddamn suplex him into the stratosphere. I'm about to teach this motherfucker judo right now.
Did you die though?
Well, like, I stumbled back, and then my back tweaked, and I was like, okay, I'm mad. I'm like legitimately mad now. I'm gonna fucking take this kid and throw him in this algae, moldy covered pool.
Well, it's because so Jocelyn had jokingly said a couple of weeks ago during some other party that she wanted a bouncy house for her birthday. And so
Which
there's a
is
bouncy
epic.
house.
Just throwing that out there. I would also want one anyway.
There was a bouncy house, and then everyone showed up. We had a bunch of really good food. Everyone was super full. Jake showed up late and tired as fuck. And then Aiden wanted everyone to go into the bouncy castle. And everyone's like, bro, no one was in like the mood or moment to get in the bouncy castle. And so he was just trying to get anyone and everyone in there. It was also like already really dark. Like it was at night.
Yeah, I showed up at like 9, and then he's like 9:45. All right, let's go bounce. And I was like, no.
And then as usual, shots are going around but we did all right. And then the next day, like I said, we just played some music.
Yeah, you got obliterated.
Not that first night.
The second night.
Yeah, the second night. That's different.
You were in the fucking shadow realm, my guy.
That was different. First night I was chilling. But the next weekend is when Brienne came over, and then we had the real jam sesh.
Yeah, that was fine. It made me realize that, like, yeah, I'm definitely not good enough at guitar to like jam in a competent setting. It also made me realize how hard it is to jam with people without music theory.
Hey, when we were jamming, I was doing whatever part you wanted me to. You wanted me to do lead, I did lead. You wanted me to do not lead, I did not lead.
Well, yeah, the music theory part is literally so you guys can just like make shit up, like on the spot. Like it's just a blueprint for like us to make music that hasn't been made.
Stephanie, what do you know about music theory? This is probably more than me.
I was about to say, so in college, in order to take like different classes, you would have to take choir on top of it. And also, I guess like with their music, just department overall, like you would also have to take music study with it. So you'd be like, all right, I'm only trying to take like an elective class here, but here I am signed up for all of this other stuff. So
you probably would have done better than me.
And a music theory is not that complicated. Especially on guitar. It's way easier on fucking piano, from what I've heard. But learn the fucking notes on your fucking guitar or bass or keyboards. And then you learn like 2 or 3 scales. And then you learn the fucking triads of said scales. And then you have the fucking capacity to just make shit up on the spot. So if somebody's like, let's jam off of a C chord progression, you just instantly know what to play based off of what they're telling you. If they're like, let's jam in C and minor scale or whatever.
Yeah, just play what sounds nice. Which I understand is what that means to do, but I should learn music theory, is what I'm getting at.
I literally did it in like a week. So like it's not like complicated, especially if you have been playing music for years like you have.
Let's see, what else? We did karaoke like we usually do. Jake showed us this song that he discovered himself on his YouTube algorithm.
Yep.
That totally wasn't a song he heard from me.
I don't think it was. Fuck you.
And Brienne definitely didn't pull out a recording of me singing it in front of his face at a previous function. And then Jake, who's been singing at this house for years now, for some reason when my parents came home, just threw the mic at me, almost hit me in the face, and folded his arms like he wasn't the one just jamming out a second ago.
Bro.
Sorry, bro. I wasn't lit enough. Still had shame left in my body.
You know, you have told me multiple times whenever I'm like, oh, I'm not drunk enough for karaoke, let's do something else right now, that I don't need to be drunk to sing, bro.
I don't. But I do need to be drunk to sing in front of your parents.
I guess.
You? No.
I guess another thing that we've been doing with Jake's sister, Brienne, is Jake's always been like, we don't play D&D, we don't play D&D. So now we have a weekly D&D game. And even though it gets interrupted by power outages and stuff, we've been pretty consistent in making Jake's life miserable.
Oh yeah, the reason why I've been procrastinating it is because I literally don't know how to write out of the hole I've been in.
Well,
I know people say don't railroad games, but then what do you do when you just can't use the campaign you've written?
I don't know, railroad us, we're fine with it.
So I have one idea, and if that idea doesn't work, I'm just gonna say, yep, retcon, you're just doing this now. Fuck you.
Fuck it.
I'm not a good enough DM to work my way out of this.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. That was I mean, I don't think I did anything much else. But I know Jake did some stuff.
Yeah. So the Volume Music Festival has come back to Spokane after being canceled due to COVID for the past couple of years. And me and one of the people I play music with, along with my sister, bought some tickets, and then we went to the music festival, and it was a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we saw like 9 bands. So the way it worked is you bought a ticket, and then you go pick up your wristband or whatever, and then there's just music playing at these 8 bars, and then you can bounce from bar to bar listening to artists, or if you like the music that they're playing at the bar you're at, you can just stay there. But they had like links to their Spotify's. So me and my homie listened to that, grabbed a list of bands we kind of wanted to see, and then planned out a route accordingly. Like, yeah, we'll listen to this band at this bar, and then in between the gap, we'll run over to this bar over here so we can catch the next show that we want to catch. Then we'll run over to this bar over here. And it was just like a good mix of genres. But overall, good night. Got blasted. Listened to live music from like 5 p.m. to like 1 in the morning.
Nice.
And then I think, yeah, the week after that, my sister bought tickets to Cold, who's like a K-pop artist that she wanted to go see. So we went to Seattle to go do that. And that was on a Friday. So Saturday, we're like, what the fuck do we do? And then she's like, hey, the R Day Beer Festival is in town. You want to go do that? And I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. We got nothing better to do. And that was also apparently just a live music event all fucking day. So got fucking Swifty off of $5 Rainiers and listened to more live music. And it was pretty cool. They had like a bunch of merch booths if you wanted Rainier branded merch. They had Jones soda and gin, I guess, if you did not want beer. They had like an arcade of like they just grabbed a bunch of arcade cabinets and threw them outside. And then they had like giant beer pong and a bunch of other things. But mainly, I was just there listening to the live music. And the 4 bands I saw were pretty good.
Okay.
And now I'm cooling, bro. Been doing too much shit this month, or these past 2 months.
Damn. Well, as per usual, we have, I mean, I feel like we all did more stuff this time, but Jake always goes above and beyond to prove that he's younger than us. So what games did we play this month? Stephanie, did you play any games?
I didn't play any games this month.
All right, so no games on that front. I'm gonna come in with one that you guys have both probably already heard about from me, from everyone in the world, because it's being called the Game of the Year. I played Astrobot on PS5, and this game is, well, it's pretty much, I'm gonna go ahead and say Sony's answer to there being no more Little Big Planet, but also they did do Astro's Playroom before, so this was probably planned way before they scrapped Sackboy. This is probably one of the cutest games I've played in a while, and if you've not even if you've just played PlayStation games, but if you've played video games in general, because there's a lot of things that aren't Sony specific that are still on there. For those of you that don't know, it's a little platformer. Very nostalgia bait in PlayStation. You go around to all these different worlds and do little platforming missions. It's got a lot of secrets and collectibles for you to discover, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I think you two would get a lot of a kick out more than I did, because y'all like Ratchet and Clank, y'all like I forgot what the other one is. Jack and Daxter.
For Astrobot, is there like different skins?
Oh, like for the one that you're playing as?
Yeah, or like costumes.
So there is, every time you do a mission, you get gold coins, and you can use those gold coins to like you have to unlock it first, because there's also puzzle pieces. So each level you go to, and it'll tell you, hey, here's this world. There's 5 to 6 different bots that you can rescue. There's 3 puzzle pieces, and some maps will have a portal, and that takes you to a whole other secret level. But if you collect enough puzzle pieces in your hub world that you can keep coming back to, that's like at the center of everything, there will be all these spots on the map that are like puzzles that aren't completed, and every time you collect puzzle pieces, they will show up on that puzzle board. Once you collect the full puzzle board, it opens up into a shop you can go to. So one of the first ones you unlock is they're not, it's a crane machine, but they call it something else in Japan. Are they gacha machines?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one of those, and you can. So there's regular astrobots that you can save that are just, they look like you, and then there's the reference ones that'll be like a hunter from Bloodborne or a Castlevania freaking person. I should know the names of the Castlevania people, but I don't. And they will show up on your hub world, and they're just kind of chilling there. But when you use that gacha machine, you can unlock either outfits for you, your astrobot, outfits, or I guess skins for your controller, because you use your controller to fly around, or little, I'm gonna say like tiny environments for those specific characters. So, like, let's say Tomb Raider is one of them, and Lara Croft, and she's chilling. She's just like walking around. But once you unlock her little gotcha thing, it's like a raptor, and it chases her around the whole area. And so you can either unlock those, or, like I said, skins for either your bot or the controller. And some of them, I mean, it's really cool how they add little, like the way you interact with them is you just go up and you hit them. So like if you hit Lara Croft as she's running while the raptor's chasing her, she'll like trip and fall, and then the raptor will like jump on top of her like it's about to eat her, but then it'll just like lick her face like a puppy. And every character has a specific thing that happens when you punch them. My personal favorite is the hunter from Bloodborne, because every time you hit someone, they'll have like a little animation where they either jump up and spin around, or they'll react to you hitting them, but they're getting hit, and usually they like reciprocate it. So like Kratos, if you punch Kratos, he'll freeze you. But the hunter from Bloodborne, every time you go to hit him, he just parries you, which I thought was neat. And like I said, every character has a little specific thing. It's like Crash Bandicoot, he's got the mask. And so when you hit him, the mask just disappears, like as he gets to other life. Yeah, yeah. So it's very cute. The game itself probably pretty fast to run through if you're just going to beat the missions. I of course wanted to collect all the bots, so and each planet has like, hey, you need to complete this amount of missions, save this number of bots in order to do the final boss of that place. So you can do it before. So you can beat this game having not rescued all the bots, having not done everything. But I like a challenge, and each map has a bunch of challenging levels that are actually like hard because you can go through the base levels pretty easily. Like I think everyone could beat it. It's not that hard. But the challenge levels, those are the ones that are a bit difficult. And I personally saved all 300 of 300 bots. And once you do that, you get access to this final super bonus level to save a super secret bot. And I've been trying for weeks and I cannot beat that level. So I'm a scrub. But it's a super cute game, super fun paced. I don't know. I feel like it might get old if you try and run through the whole thing in one day. So the way I did it is there's 5 like base planets where like you'll go through a bunch of levels and then you'll beat the boss of that place. And in order to not burn myself out, I just did one of those per day. So like one day I'd go, I'd do all one planet and then I'd call it for that day. I'd be like, nope, not playing this no more. And I had a really good time. All the environments are amazing. Like even just walking around, because it really uses the DualShock 5 to its fullest potential. If it's raining, you can feel the rain. If there's wind, you can feel wind moving you. When you get hit, you can feel it in the controller. Like it's something I haven't seen since like the Switch. Like if you guys remember playing all those Jake, remember we played 1-2 Switch and there was a game where like you had to guess how many little balls were in the controller by like rolling it and bouncing it around.
Yep.
It feels a lot like that. Like the whole controller feels, it's crazy. And then it'll have you do like some levels you'll need to move your controller, like not use the joysticks but like actually move it to maneuver. Sometimes you got to blow on it to make fans go. It's got a lot of this game really should have, if this had come out when the PS5 first dropped, I think that would have been a huge game changer. It might be a little late in the game, especially with Sony trying to do that stupid scummy fucking PS5 Pro that no one should buy. But Jake, you have the game for free, and this one's not a Metroidvania, so I think you'd get a kick out of it. And Stephanie, it's very cute, and you love Little Big Planet, so you also would love the shit out of this game.
I'm gonna look into it, most definitely.
Is it Game of the Year material? I don't think so. Is it top 10 material? Highly likely. But that's one game I played. Jake, what do you got?
We played a digital board game called For the King when Robert and I were chilling earlier this month. So it's I said digital board game. You and up to 2 of your friends run around this overworld kingdom that I believe is like, I don't know if it's randomly generated or not. I think it's randomly generated each time. But depending on the game mode you play, the main game mode, there's a little story where the king of the land has been murdered, and you and your 2 adventurer friends are going to go try to find the murderer and also like bring an end to the evil of the land. So the way this works is you move your little piece around the map doing like encounters. So if you run into a guy, you can fight him.
If you run into like a NPC, you can talk to them, maybe like buy some shit from their shop. There's also like random events that involve skill checks. So it'll be like, hey, cool, there's a mountain here, and it looks like there's treasure up that mountain. You want to try to climb it or nah? And successfully climbing it will reward you with an item. Depending on how well or bad you rolled, fucking it up really bad could just mean you die. And your team has a limited amount of lives.
That are all like together, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, they share a pool. So after enough deaths, your run's over, and then you restart the whole thing. So if one of your friends keeps dying, just beat the shit out of them because they suck.
I mean, it's not just luck based because you can use what do they call those that you help for your roll?
So you have like 5 stats, and that's what you're using to roll. So if you have a 70% chance to succeed on like a strength check, and a skill check requires you to roll 5 strength checks in a row, you have to roll 5 successes in a row to succeed on that thing. But to mitigate some of the luck part of it, each character has a thing called focus, which is like a limited resource you can spend and then get back by consuming items or like resting at an inn. And whenever you spend focus, you just instantly succeed on one of your rolls. And a lot of the combat abilities, because when you get into a fight, it just turns into turn-based JRPG combat, they'll have like secondary effects that will only pop off if you rolled all successes on all of your checks. So like a wizard will have like a spell that's like chain lightning, requires 3 successful intelligence checks. If all 3 of them succeed, you deal damage to every single enemy instead of just one. But it is a fun little co-op adventure. Like, you plan a route with your homies, you try to get as much as the main quest done as you can, as well as the side quests. The game gets harder over time because there's like a darkness encroaching on the land. So you need to do things to mitigate the darkness, but also that's not the main objective. So you got to kind of like plan and strategize accordingly with you and your friends. Or you can just play it solo. If you play it solo, you just control all 3 characters. So you got to manage your own dudes if you're running it by yourself. There's like multiple different classes that make use of multiple different types of equipment. So you're like trading equipment and trading money, trying to make sure everybody's like kitted out as well as they possibly can be. And it's kind of like a delightful micro D&D experience.
Now you might be thinking, Stephanie, oh, this sounds like a nice little co-op fun adventure where you work together and there's absolutely no reason to fight amongst yourselves. But there is limited resources around the map, and some of those resources make it so that whoever, like, there's shrines and stuff, and if you go to that shrine and you pray to those gods, for one, that means that when you die, you get to come back, which is nice, but then you lose the buff. But one of the buffs is like, you get more gold. And so if you get that one, then everyone pretty much is like, well, because when you guys fight, you get to decide how to split the loot. It'll give a random item to like the first person, and they can either take it or pass it. And then the second person either takes what was passed to them or what they got, or they also pass it. So if someone wants something and 2 people can use it, they can just be like, no, fuck you, I want this. And if you're the person that happens to have the gold buff, then everyone's going to give you the gold because you're going to have the more gold. But then when you go buy things that you need, there's something you want and you're the one with the gold, then like who's gonna stop you from buying what you want? Like, fuck everyone else.
Okay, wait. So just to clarify though, so you did mention that there's a set number of lives and you can use all of the lives, well, depending like if you die. Does that mean that like this is like really short or is this like you can take up to an hour, 3 hours, 2
It's never
minutes,
ending.
30 minutes?
I think you can beat the main quest. The run Robert and I were on because we were unknowingly playing on easy was like we played for like 6 hours.
Wait,
And we stopped.
unknowingly.
We didn't die. We stopped.
Yeah, we didn't die. We unknowingly played it on easy.
Oh,
So there's continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, can you choose, or does it just set like a default setting of easy?
No, you can set a difficulty. So there's a resource called lore, and every time you complete a quest or like do a side quest, you'll get this resource called lore. And what that does is it lets you go to the shop when you're not in a run and buy different classes, different encounters, different quests, different equipment items that'll start spawning in your games as soon as you buy them. So the higher the difficulty, the better the lore reward for quests and shit.
Oh, okay.
And there's also alternate game modes that I mentioned earlier. Like one of the ones that's my favorite when I'm like by myself is a randomly generated endless dungeon. Because when you enter a dungeon, you and your whole party run in there. And then it's just back-to-back battles or traps or encounters. And there's a game mode that just lets you do that infinitely. And the lore reward for getting to higher and higher floors is a lot higher than running it normally by yourself. There's also things that'll unlock in the shop that you can only get by running the endless dungeon mode.
The dungeons are hard though, and you can die in there real easily if you're not careful.
Yeah, if you're not ready for like an example is like lock picks. If you don't have lock picks, there's some doors that like you just will have to bash open, which will cost you health. Or some traps you'll have a hard time disabling, and if you fuck up disabling them, you'll like eat some damage. There's loot in there you won't be able to get without any lock picks.
One of my best memories of being in the dungeon is, you know how I said when you get loot, you can either take it yourself or you can pass it? The same applies for like everything in the game. So when you're in a dungeon, if a treasure chest pops up and you're the first person, and you don't have a lockpick or something, you can either like risk trying to break it open or whatever, and you got to pass a success of however many, or if your buddy has a lockpick, you can just pass it to him, and then he or she could use their lockpick to open it without having to guesstimate it. So not everything's all like rewards though. Jake and I, the first dungeon we're doing, we get to a spot and it's like underground in like a cave. So there's one of those little trolley things that just goes through, like where people put coal in or whatever, and they're just like zooming through. And so you have to like run through to try and like make it, and you have to like pass a certain luck. And Jake's like sitting there going like fuck, 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 because he's low on health, and he's like, if I fail this, I'm gonna die. And he's like, wait a minute, I'll just pass it to you. Rob passes it to me. And I was like, all right, bet, whatever. And I think I burned some of that focus, and I like, and I pass it just fine. And Jake doesn't. Because like you have to do those individually. So Jake was like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about this. And then after I cross over and barely miss a trolley, Jake has to do it too.
There's an option to disable that trap, which I was expecting him to do, and he's like, no, I'll just walk past it.
Oh, that's what it was. It was disable or run past.
That's messed up.
And he's just like, nope, not spending a lockpick on this. Get fucked.
I didn't. Then it was me. It was me that thought, oh, I just have to do it. And then nah, Jake's just like, well, cool. He did make it though. He did make it.
Yeah,
it's a fun game though.
It's a really fun co-op experience.
I like that it's I think I've found that I like board games online or on console because you don't have to fuck with
Robert
everything.
hates tactile pieces.
I think I'm just used to playing
You're
games.
too lazy to roll dice physically?
Dude, well, it's not the roll dice. It's if that game were an actual game, all the monsters, all the shops, all the random events, like it's a lot of pieces.
It
No,
sounds pretty fun though.
It's a fun game. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently I haven't heard much about the second one, so I don't know if it's any better or worse. But that one came out recently-ish, I think.
Yeah, but I haven't played enough of the first one to like notice significant changes unless the game completely changed.
And I'm excited to check out the other campaigns because, as I said, there's the main for the King quest, but there's also like a seafaring pirate adventure. There's like a snow expedition setting. So this game's got a lot of fucking content. And I'm unlocking new events that I haven't seen before in areas that'll start spawning in my future games.
Nice. I mean, I'm definitely down to play some more of that.
It's good when like you want to do something just engaging enough to like spend some brain cells on, but like you don't have to dedicate too much attention to it because you're ultimately just making choices and committing to them.
Yeah. And we played another game that same day. Actually, no, it might have been the next time, like the time that Brienne came over. That you also don't need a lot of brain cells to play. Jake was just looking through the sales on PlayStation, and he just downloads this game that I guess was free. I hope it was free. Called Onichabara Origin.
You were not fucking talking about this fucking game.
Why not?
What is the point? We played it for like 20 minutes.
I beat that game, Jake.
What is wrong with you?
I played all of it.
What is actually wrong with you?
In fact, not only did I play all of it, I spent money on DLC for this game.
Touch fucking grass.
Do you want to know why I spent money for DLC on this game?
Because you're horny?
No, actually, it's the opposite.
Your dick sucked?
It's the opposite. I spent money so that the main character was wearing more clothes because I was playing this in my living room. And I didn't want this girl who's wearing nothing all over my TV screen. So here's the problem. This game's actually pretty fun.
I've heard that. I just don't know if I'm willing to run through the jank. Because, boy howdy, does that game not feel good to play at the start.
So I told Stephanie a little bit about this, the intro stuff, For some reason, you're in a fucking bikini and you're trying to avenge your mother's death because your mother died and there's zombies. And also your sister wants to kill you. And your dad's out there doing some stuff. That's pretty much what the intro tells you. And it plays like a character action game. Yeah, you got a sword. You slice people. You can unlock different moves, different combos, same as any character action game. Your sword, if it gets too bloody, you have to, instead of reloading a gun, you're reloading your sword. You're just wiping the blood off of it. But also, if you get enough blood on you, then you go Super Saiyan and your hair turns white and you're fucking stronger, but you take more damage. And then if you keep fucking shit up while you're in the Super Saiyan mode, you go fucking Super Plus Ultra and you get into like this super badass mode, which again, you do even more damage. But not only do you take more damage, your health also just starts draining. Like instantly, your health starts going down. But you get health back upon hit. And you don't get staggered. So like if you're fighting a boss, chef's kiss. You will destroy them. Just don't stop hitting. They're gonna hit you, but you just keep hitting. Story for this game is absolutely wild. It is. I think the way I described it, Stephanie, is Jake. You know those fucking House of the Dead fucking arcade games? How technically they have a story and the missions go into each other, but it's kind of bullshit.
I think House of the Dead's narrative makes perfect sense. So I
No,
know what the fuck you're talking about.
It makes sense, but what I mean is like the missions are just boom, 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 boom. Like it's clearly an experience that you're supposed to just fucking blaze through.
Suppose.
That's what this is. It is just like you have some bosses. There's just enough there for why they're doing the things they're doing. And it's just a ridiculous story that, I mean, Jake, are you going to play this game?
Maybe. Probably
Okay. Well, and I doubt Stephanie's going to play it, but who knows?
I was like, depends on what the DLC is. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, the DLC, I'll say this. I literally just got her a dress. It's a dress that covers her up because
How much that cost you?
$349. Technically it comes in 3 different colors.
$349. Wow. Huh.
And because it's ridiculous. There is literally a plot point in the game because I asked Jake at the beginning and I was like, hey, is there a fucking canon reason why she dresses like this? And there's none that I could find. But there's a point in the game where, Jake, you know that chick that you're talking to at the beginning through like the radio or phone or whatever?
Yeah, your handler or whatever.
You run into her and you don't know it's her. And so you guys are fighting. And you're like, it's a boss fight, I guess. And once you beat her, she's just like, oh, hey, it's me. I just had to fight you, though, to make sure that you're you. And another character looks at her and goes like, you know someone else that dresses like this? And I mean, I know that my character had the dress, but I'm assuming the fucking gameplay assumes you're wearing the bikini that she wears. And so yeah, like the game is literally saying, why would you be dressed like this in this game? And who the fuck else dresses like this? This game taught me how to parry.
This fucking game, this is the only one.
This game taught me how to parry. Because you have to. I am famously known, Stephanie, for not being able to fucking parry for my goddamn life, which is why I like Bloodborne over all the other Souls games, specifically Sekiro.
I mean, sometimes.
And this game is just like, nah, bro, you got to learn how to parry or you can't play this game. And I was like, guess I'm learning how to parry. Story's stupid. Cutscenes are stupid. But it feels good to play. Later, Jake. Like, once you figure shit out.
So this game is actually a remake / re-release of a PS2 game.
Technically, it's game 1 and game 2.
Is it?
Yeah. And when you play it, you're able to, like, you can tell where that line is drawn. Pretty obvious. But, I mean, like I said, it was fun. Can I recommend this to someone? I can recommend it to y'all because you guys watch anime and know what you're getting into.
Horny on main.
Like it's like I said, I had a good time with it. It's a cheesy, fun game that I'll never pick up again. Yeah, Jake, you'd probably like it. Stephanie, you'd probably be like, Robert, what the fuck did you make me play? Action. Well, then never mind. You probably won't like it. But yeah, that's Onichabara Origins, which is a game I never would have played if it wasn't for Jake.
Well,
so it's your fault.
I was horny on main.
But all right, Jake, what else you got?
So I found a cute little indie game called Hellbreach Vegas. Stephanie, what do you know about COD Zombies?
I know a little bit, I would say.
So this is a indie game that is a love letter to COD Zombies. but with gambling and blackjack and hookers.
Oh, all right.
So it plays exactly the way you would expect a zombies clone to play. You shoot zombies, you get points, you spend points on guns that are fucking grafted to the walls and the floor. You unlock areas, rinse, repeat. Try to survive as long as you can. What makes Hellbreach unique is the core gameplay mechanic is gambling. So instead of like machines and shit like there is in like regular COD zombies, this game, everything's a slot machine. So there's a damage buff slot machine where the damage buff you get is randomized. There's a literal slot machine where you could get more points or just lose all your fucking money and fall behind. There's like a mystery box equivalent. There's also perks. And you want to get those as quick as you can because those game will like rapidly increase over time in price. But what's weird to me about this game is there's these things called chips. And that is your primary out of game currency to like buy different loadouts and skins and starting perks with. And yeah, those drop ish sometimes when you kill an enemy, but you can also find the chip slot machine on the map and then spend your points gambling for XP. Because whenever you get a chip, it also gives you experience points, and that's the only way to get experience points. So if you want to level up, if there's like a gun you want that you have to be level 20 to start with, you'll need to just grind to level 20 to unlock that gun and then buy it. So better prepared to do a lot of fucking gambling.
I mean, my favorite thing to do was just to buff the shit out of my guns so that everyone else had to pay a ridiculous amount of money to buff theirs for a percentage of what I had buffed.
Like a bitch.
So, but like my thing was, all right, I'm going to find a cheap gun that I can just keep using, but I'm going to make it do 200 plus damage. And yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a couple of game modes which are, it's interesting that it tried to do multiple game modes, but they're all kind of bad except for the default game mode. Like there's one called Trapped where you're not allowed to leave the starting area. Like you just lose your ability to buy extra areas. There's one called, there's like a fake battle royale one where like there's a storm circle that gets smaller over time until you're trapped in a ridiculously small area. And then there's a gun game mode where you need to get kills with the guns to get a different gun, and then you compete with your friends to kill as many zombies as fast as you can. And then there's the obviously default zombies last as long as you can game mode,
which is the GOAT.
Which is really good. Or you can, if you just like only want to play for like 15 minutes or whatever, you can set like, hey, kick me out after 10 rounds or whatever, or end the game after 20 rounds. But it's fun. It's jank, but it's fun. I think it's adorable that this game takes place in Vegas, but everybody has a Eastern European accent because I'm pretty sure it was made by an Eastern European guy. And the voice actors are trying their best to do American accents.
Hey man, Vegas has people from all over the world.
Yeah, I guess they're all from Eastern Europe.
The zombies are the Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically if you're tired of fucking Call of Duty's bullshit and want to go back to zombies, this is better than anything they've put out in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, it just hit version 1.0 recently. And then I think they had like a sale for it hitting version 1.0, so I just bought myself and Robert a copy for like $8 each or whatever.
Oh wow.
Even when it's not on sale, I think it's only like a $10 game.
Which, when we originally played and we only thought it had one map, still worth it.
It was still good. I was like, yeah, I can't wait for this game to get updates and get more maps. And then I realized you can change the map. There's like 10
like
maps.
8 maps or 10, yeah. which was
And I'm just fucking stupid.
definitely worth the money for sure. Anything else to say about Hellscape Vegas?
Good game. Support your local indie devs.
Or Eastern European indie devs?
That still,
which could be local. Could be local.
Whatever. Local in my heart.
There you go. There you go. The last game to talk about is another game from the same creator of the game that I talked about last month. I played Squirrel Stapler.
This is on my list. If you spoil it, I'm going to castrate you.
There's not much to spoil. Like, do you know what Squirrel Stapler is about?
They look like beavers.
They do look like beavers.
It's about stationery and squirrels.
So it's a hunting game. I'll keep this spoiler free. For reasons I cannot discuss, you have to hunt squirrels. And you're going around. You got 5 days, 5 hunting days, and you have a limit of squirrels that you need to hunt each day before you turn back into your cabin. This is a horror game, but it's a horror game that takes place in the bright daylight, because you just go out into these woods, into this PS2 looking Chop Goblins graphics looking game, and you're hunting squirrels. And so you go out with a shotgun, you have like 5 bullets or something, and there's things around the map that you can use to reload or boost your speed or whatever. You can either crouch, or you can walk, or you can sprint. But these squirrels can hear you, and if you are too loud, they'll fucking run away. This game did scare me, but it scares you in a subtle way, which is all I can say. This game doesn't feel as good as Chop Goblins, because the shooting isn't that much the point. And there is some things in there that up the ante, but that's about all I can say without spoiling it for Jake. It's a fun game. It doesn't take that long. Just throw on some headphones, hop in there, alone in the dark, run that game. This isn't a game you want to play while you're in a Discord call with other people, for obvious reasons. You're hunting, but also it'll take you out of it.
Would I like this game?
Do you like short horror experiences for $4.99?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's only $5. Oh my gosh.
It's a super, and you can run this game. So y'all can play this, and then we can talk about the spoilers.
I'm gonna this month.
All right, say less.
I'll also play it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go for it, and then we'll come back to it, because
it's on my spooky October playlist, dog.
Okay. I will say this is low on the scares. Like I said, it's daylight, it's whatever, so y'all can play it. So don't be afraid to play it in the dark. This game ain't gonna traumatize y'all.
It's gonna traumatize me.
But for the full experience, do play it in the dark, headphones, bam.
I don't know. Evil beavers do sound pretty scary.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've even told Stephanie something. I haven't told you everything, because there's stuff that I was going to mention now, but now that'll be a surprise for you too. But Stephanie knows of another thing that happens, and so she'll be ready for that. Jake, you'll see. But yeah, that's it for video games. This will be a good time to mention real quick. There is a homework assignment for this next podcast. It's not a hard one, because I'm sure you guys were all already going to do this anyway. But I was going to say, play a spooky game, watch a spooky movie, and then do another thing that's spooky.
No.
Whether it be read a book, watch a YouTube video, write a story, draw something, I don't care.
Nope.
We're already reading the spooky book next month, Jake. You just said you're playing this spooky game, plus I know you're playing another spooky game.
Spooky these nuts, bitch.
And then you can't go the month of October without watching a horror movie. No one can.
I don't know, maybe you'll actually watch fucking Mandy.
You know, I will. Speaking of movies, Stephanie, you watched Inside Out too.
Yeah. And I feel like there's not a whole lot to say about this. If you haven't seen one, it's basically the emotions inside of a young girl. I don't know how old she is in the first one, but in the second one, she's 13. And so basically, you see the development and also to how new emotions form, which is very interesting to say the least. But I don't know. It was just really nice. It's like one of those feel good movies, and I would definitely watch it again. That's honestly all I have to say because I don't know. It's a Disney movie. There's not too much that goes into it, I feel like.
So this isn't a Soul. This is just a sequel.
I would say I like it because, of course, too, like my profession, but I think also, I don't know. I feel like there's probably a point where you can like reflect when you're also 13 and like going through all the different emotions. And I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious that, geez, what's that trend on TikTok where basically they're like, hear me out or whatever. And like you'll see like who their like crush is.
I was gonna say, "Hear Me Out" has been a fucking meme for ages.
Bruh. Okay, well, anyway, that, like, happens in the movie, and it is just the funniest shit ever where I'm like, "Yeah, that I feel like that tracks." So, Riley, that's the main character's name, she has, like, a hear me out moment, but, like, you get to see it, like, inside of her mind, which is, like, just wild to me, but hella funny.
Are you saying there's a scene where, like, you see something that shouldn't be attractive, and then you see the inside of this girl kinda sorta justify why it's attractive?
I think I should say this, has there ever been a point where, like, you all had a crush on, like, a video game character? It doesn't have to be now, but I mean, like, when you were younger and you
I
were like
mean, right now, bro. What do you mean?
you're like, "Actually, that
I just
one."
said I played Oni Shambar.
Who did
But
I
no,
find hot in video games?
I don't
but,
know,
like
Shadowheart recently. Me.
but
Gale's
when
pretty
you were
hot too.
younger, though, like, when you were 13 and, like, again, right, you're, like, transitioning into, like, "Oh, things are cool, things are not cool." And, like, I don't know, like, the person that she has a crush on, like, you can definitely tell, like, it's a PS1 game. And so, like, this character is, like, glitching out and, like, has really terrible mechanics. So I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
has there been a
13-year-old
point
13-year-old me definitely didn't, know how to make Laura Croft swing from one pole to another. That's why she kept spinning over and over again, because I just couldn't figure out how to jump to the other one.
I feel like all the women in the games I played when I was 13 were really fucking annoying.
What'd you play when you were 13?
but it could be before then, like, even when you were, like, I don't know, like, 1st grade or 2nd grade.
First grade to second grade,
Yeah, I was like, I didn't like girls when I was a first
I thought they
grader.
were icky. I don't
Bruh,
know,
I
that
just
polygonal model from like Xena. I was like, yeah, that's cool. The fucking shitty N64 fighting game.
okay.
Why? Is there a video game character you found attractive when you were younger?
I was, like, trying to think of this, right? I was like, "Okay,
Ever played
so."
Hercules? Actually,
Mhm.
y'all played Kingdom Hearts when you guys were younger. Well, you didn't have a crush on Kyrie when you were younger, Jake? Hercules was
No.
you played fucking Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? You like, okay, even if you didn't like Cloud, you telling me fucking Zach? I think he's hot now. Fucking that's insane.
The only hot character in the Kingdom Hearts franchise is fucking Riku. That's it.
I mean, I've been spoiled and now know that Zach is also in Kingdom Hearts, so fuck you, that's a lot.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in which one was it? It was Dream Drop Distance or I forgot which one he's in. He's in one of them. He's in at Hercules's. And what Hercules ain't hot?
No. I think if you're just related to a Disney property, I have like no feelings for you. Like I don't even have an opinion.
Well, I mean Lilo's older sister.
I
Well,
know that
going back to the first question, sorry, I just gotta cut in here. So, yes, I did have a crush, and it was the dude from Tenchu, and that's a PS1 game, and basically, like, he was just like this ninja, but like he had the coolest hair, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it's like really terrible now that I think about it, because he's like literally murdering people throughout the streets. But when I was younger, I was like, that's pretty peak. So
You
thank
said
you all.
Tenshu?
Yeah.
Bro, this looks like some Baki ass shit.
Well, and again, that's why it's so funny, right? Like in the movie, for one, I was like, oh, I totally relate. And then also too, like they're just blocky characters. And you can tell like that's what that person was that they reference, right? And it's a made up character. But like it's just hilarious to me. Where I was like, oh yeah.
How people would find blocky characters. Like yeah, even like I said, Laura Croft. But like back before the,
Well, I can see
No,
that
no,
a
no, no,
little bit
no.
more.
Okay. No, I'm saying like the one I played, at least like they were like she was round. But before that, it was like blocky.
I'll just tell you right now, you know exactly where those blocks were at, you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
I have searched the deepest depths of my soul to pull out an answer, and I've finally found one.
It's gonna be some shit.
It's gonna be very basic. Yeah, I thought Jade from Mortal Kombat was really hot. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like Mortal Kombat fucking.
I was like, did I find any characters attractive at any point in time? And I was like, yeah, Jade. That was about it.
Hey, that's fair. Also, too, it doesn't have to be like again, right? Like, I think there is a point where there are characters that are interacting with that character where they're like, "Oh, dang, he's so dreamy" or whatever. But like, it really could just be like harmless crush where you're like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Jake was like Cortana. Nah, bro.
She was annoying. Same with Keys. Fuck her. Fuck that bitch.
Well,
all the women in Mass Effect, fuck them. They're annoying.
Never played Mass Effect.
I feel like Jade should be the thumbnail to this week's podcast.
All the men in Mass Effect, chef's kiss. All marriage material. They're all fucking dope. All the women are so fucking annoying.
I mean, that fairy in Legend of Zelda, bro. Jake's like, She
looks like encrypted.
But okay. I'm glad that we got this Disney movie about a teenager to talk about our childhood crushes.
I know, now I feel like so weird. I'm like, that's not what this movie was about, but also.
Nah, because when I watch Inside Out 2 now, I'm gonna be like, all right, let's see this blocky fucking video game character.
I'm glad that's just not a feeling I have. Like, I would have been way more of a social outcast as in like high school and middle school if I was like, yeah, I'm trying to fuck Cortana, bro. I'm trying to.
Hey, I don't think anyone was trying to fuck Cortana.
I'm trying to smash fucking Lady Briarwood from Fable. Or fucking.
Jake, I promise you, if you told any fucking middle schooler that you thought Cortana was hot, they would have just been like, yeah.
Sheikah and Ocarina of Time.
I guess I just want to say this again, like you see her internal dialogue like inside of her head. So I mean, it's not like she was going around being like, "Oh, hey, all of her hockey buddies, like, yo, you remember that one dude from this made up video game?" Yeah, I was about that. Like, you know what I mean?
If Inside Out 2 was about 13-year-old me, that would be a fucking horror movie for myself.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe, not gonna lie. If I had a time machine, I'll go back and assassinate my 13-year-old self. Fuck that guy.
That's what Inside Out 3 is going to be about.
Inside Out 2.
All right. You know what? I'll talk about a movie that I watched. Y'all heard of Trap? The M. Night Shyamalan movie?
No.
Yeah.
It's a M. Night Shyamalan movie, so like, there's a twist. Which now that I think about it, I don't think this movie really had a twist. There's the twist. It doesn't have a twist.
Nice.
Literally about a dude who takes his daughter to a concert for her birthday, maybe? Or maybe he just took her. I don't know. And turns out this concert is a trap for him specifically because he's a serial killer. Not a spoiler. It happens instantly. Like, as soon as the movie starts. Is it a fun movie to watch with friends to make fun of? Yes. Does it hold up as a movie on its own? No. The best parts about cat and mouse, serial killer or criminal versus detective in movies, TV shows, games, anime, whatever, is always to me how there is two intelligent people and they are just barely outsmarting each other at every turn or anything like that. This movie has none of that. Every single tension moment that would be in this movie just isn't there because this guy just gets everything handed to him on a silver platter. Like, it's within the first, you can see this in the trailer, and I thought, oh, I wonder how he gets this information. He literally goes up to a stand where they're selling merch, and he's like, hey, why is there all this security? And then this guy just fucking blurts out all this exposition of how there's a trap that's set, who they're after, who the serial killer is, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was just like, wow. So literally anybody could have came up and asked, and he would have given them that info. If this was a D&D session, this guy rolled a nat 20 on every single fucking interaction. And so he just got everything that he needed or wanted. Would I recommend to watch this movie by yourself? No. Do not recommend this movie. Unless
That's why I don't watch movies. They're bad.
Unless you're like in the mood to laugh at how bad a movie is. Friends.
That's why I don't watch movies.
But you did watch movies, so what did you watch, Jake?
Well, after our 6-hour For the King run, Robert's like, we're watching this movie. I really want to watch this movie because Jon Favreau is hot and my dick is hard. And I was like, okay, we're going to watch the Jon Favreau movie because you are really attracted to Jon Favreau when he was like 20.
Okay, do you disagree?
Yeah.
All right, whatever. I thought he was hot.
You don't have very high standards, but that's okay.
Damn.
Someone's
love
gonna
yourself.
have low standards.
All right.
Ain't enough of it to go around, dog. You're doing the world a service.
Okay.
This movie was pretty good. I tried watching it with Robert, but he was blackout drunk. This motherfucker started snoring so bad in the middle of the movie, I thought he was literally going to die.
Relatable.
Like, he would start wheezing.
It's not that bad.
He would start wheezing and then like coughing and then stop breathing in his sleep. And I was like, bro, I'm going to watch a man die tonight.
All right. So the movie.
So that was what. This movie is a breakup movie, or not a breakup movie. A post breakup movie, I guess.
I was awake for that. Yeah.
For about the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau plays a guy from New York who moved to LA basically to like get over his like ex-girlfriend that he was with for like 7 or 8 years. It was like a long time. He's like thought he was going to marry her. And he is a sad piece of shit and an absolute buzzkill. And it's basically about his friends, Vince Vaughn and 2 other actors that are probably famous that I don't know, trying to help homie out. Try to get him back on the horse. Try to do something with this man because he's such a sad piece of shit. And I thought it was going to go somewhere really weird and dark because it just seems like the kind of movie that would do that based on like the setting and the tone. But no, it is a weirdly lighthearted comedy about relationships in the romantic sense and in the friendship sense. Like Vince Vaughn, I initially thought was a fucking prick in this movie. But over time, you just see that he's just like a concerned homie who's worried about his friend, who's trying to do what he can to assist his homie.
You know, I do remember one particular scene that I remember thinking was hilarious. Because it's Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau on the car. and they're talking about like Vince Vaughn is trying to say how he's like sad and stuff, and he's like, "What do? You're just there in your place drinking a glass of orange juice?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Is that a time thing, or like is that just something people do when they're sad?" I can't imagine sitting there drinking a glass of orange juice does not seem like a sad activity to me.
I know. I guess it was a sad activity in the 90s.
Because I was like, if he was drinking by himself in his place, yeah, but chilling with a glass of orange juice, that's a...
No,
I don't know.
You missed the fucking cringe in this movie, though. Like, there's a point in this movie where he gets a girl's number, and then, because he's like trying to like get back on the horse, and his friends are like, "Hey, yep, don't call her for 2 to 3 days." And then he's like, "Well, how long do y'all wait?" And they're like, "A week."
My gosh.
And they're like, "You don't want to seem desperate or weird." So they're like, he goes home, and then he instantly calls her number, and then fumbles the bag, and then gets cut off mid like, "Yeah, let's go do a thing or whatever, because I thought you were really cool," because her answering machine cut off the message. And then he calls her back and then tries to finish, and then it cuts him off again, and he calls her back, and then he just has like an anxiety attack on the phone, and he's like, "This is a bad idea. We're not dating. Sorry, it's not happening." And then like he fucks up doing that again, and then eventually she picks up and answers, and she's like, "Don't ever call me, ever."
I mean, it happens.
No, I've never had that happen to me, ever. I've never had an anxiety attack while talking to somebody I was romantically interested in, ever.
Yeah, me neither. Stephanie?
Nope.
Yeah. We're all just perfectly capable of holding a conversation with someone of the we are attracted to.
Yeah, it's fine to be like a little bit nervous, but to literally just fucking melt, to like just stop being human, no, never had that happen.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about leaving like 3 messages.
He didn't leave 3, it was like 7.
Jesus Christ.
It was bad. Like, I took secondhand cringe damage.
I mean, it was in the 90s though. So like it was on a answering machine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like at least now I don't even have to listen to it. I can read it off my iPhone. If someone leaves me a message, I have to press play and hear it out loud around whoever I am. Oof.
It was good. Yeah. Like it's basically them bar hopping to bar hopping, the same group of friends trying to get him to get out, get over it, work through it, offering him some pretty good advice, some pretty bad advice. But it was honestly kind of a feel-good movie. I did like it.
Okay. I'll have to watch it when I'm not blackout drunk. It was on my list, so at least someone watched it.
I thought it was surprisingly good, even though Jon Favreau is not as hot as I think Robert thinks he is. But as I said, more for the rest of us.
I mean, I've known him as Happy from freaking Iron Man movies / Spider-Man movies.
I feel like most people are like moderately attractive and they're like early to mid 20s. I don't feel like that's a unique trait to have when you're young.
I feel like there has to be some people that are like, man, must be nice.
I think the internet has ruined people. I don't think people are as unattractive as I think they are. I like, unless you got dealt a real shit hand, which is probably like a very small minority of people, I don't think most people are ugly. Like, most people just look fine. It's okay to look fine. You don't have to look like a fucking Instagram filter all the time. Get off the fucking internet. Touch grass.
All right. That's Swingers.
Yeah, the name of this movie is fucking Swingers, which blew my mind because it's like swinging in like the jazz sense and not the
rich people party where they all fuck each other.
You don't got to be rich to swing.
You don't have to be P. Diddy.
Fair enough. Robert would know.
I do not know. I'm going to talk about this movie real quick just because it's insane to me, even though Jake did not like it. I watched Wild Things, and then I made Jake and Brienne watch Wild
What
Things.
What a shit movie.
And I made my sister and Kai watch Wild Things. I kind of love this movie. So
I hate you for liking this movie.
So this movie is about a teacher who works at a school in, is this Florida?
Yes.
Florida, right? Yeah. In Florida. So like everyone, and it's in a place where it looks like most people have money. Even when you don't have money, even when you're broke, you're not broke. You're like high middle class. And the teacher gets accused by a student of sexual assault. And the first half of this movie is a really serious, like, I guess you could call it a thriller that seems to be going in a dark place because at first you think, hey, yo, there's no way this dude did it. This girl's doing it for attention. And then you're like, holy shit, actually, maybe he did do it. And the whole first half of this movie is this like, man, like, we're talking about serious topics here. It's pretty intense. Got courtroom scenes and everything. And I was like really into it, like, oh shit. Like I was surprised that this movie was made when it was made. Watching the first half, I was like, that's wild. And then the second half of the movie is that 2000s fucking edgy, over the top bullshit that we're all used to. It completely makes it not a serious movie. And it just keeps you on your toes and it keeps you fucking guessing. And the amount of meme worthy things that happen, Jake, is so fucking hilarious to me. Which I guess you didn't have a good time.
This movie is the bit from Rick and Morty about heists movies and why they suck ass.
I mean,
Damn.
For 2000s movies, yeah, but also it came out in the year
literally
2000.
It's just like, what if this? And then actually, here's another, like, it's literally, there's so many twists that the movie's incomprehensible.
No, and see, so that's what I was thinking. Like, when the first twist happens, I was like, oh shit. And then the second twist happens, and I was like, oh, okay. Third twist happened, and I was like, all right, this is getting kind of old. Like, bro. But then the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth twist happened, and it was just too fucking funny to me.
I was trying to explain the plot of this movie to my coworker.
Oh, no,
as soon as I got to twist 3, he's like, oh, so this movie sucks. And I was like, absolutely. He's like, oh, no, I get it. Yeah, I've seen these before.
Okay, yeah, and you don't think it's fun?
No.
Well, that's
it's not even clear what the fuck this movie's about until like you're an hour in.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, the first half is a completely different movie than the last half.
Like,
and I think that's why I was so into it, because I knew nothing about this movie. And I watched the first half, and the fucking change in atmosphere is so jarring that it was wild to me. And then, like, the more I kept thinking, like, this is wild, I was like, the movie's called Wild Things. Like, I deserve this.
I think I have less respect for cinema after viewing this film. Like, I already thought movies are, like, the worst.
But again,
aside from comedy.
This is like, back in the 2000s, though.
I don't give a shit. This movie still sucks. You know what also happened in the 2000s?
What?
I'm trying to think of a thing that was good in the
Pearl Jam?
I can't. Yeah, no, it was all bad.
Jeez, here I was to say 9/11. Like, what?
That was the early 2000s. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I was like, but you did say good things, so I was like, wait, hold on, let me just correct myself.
This movie fucking sucks. I think I hate cinema more than I did before, which is outstanding to me. The media of film is for fucking hacks.
This movie has Bill Murray. It's got Kevin Bacon's dick. It's got
Hold on, can you just what?
Sidney Prescott being a goth and then also not being a goth. It's got it all.
Except
Yeah, I did see Kevin Bacon's dick.
specifically. Yeah, I was like, wait, does that mean that Kevin Bacon isn't in it? You just see
He's in it.
No, he's in it, but like if you right now I'm trying to think of a moment of that movie that he was in, and one of them is his dick and the other one is him recording a snuff film that turns into a porno.
I see. So his lower half really stole the show compared to all the rest of the things he was doing.
I mean, he was also kind of a dick, so makes sense.
Movie fucking sucks.
Well, Jake described it perfectly. You either know that it's not for you or you know that it's next on your list. This month was also I was on YouTube a lot. I watched a lot of YouTube stuff, and there's a channel. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. It's called That's a Bad Idea. And it's these dudes, they do a lot of comedy skits. Some you might recognize are like it's a blonde dude and a brunette dude. And the blonde dude, there's one there, he does a lot where he's like at a stand with like a bunch of cups, and like a dude will come up and take one, and he's like, why would you drink that? That's poison. You guys know? You guys haven't seen that, maybe?
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to like scour through the depths of my mind, and I'm like,
But anyway, they do a bunch of funny little skits, typical funny YouTube skits or whatever. But last month they came out with a movie called Milk and Cereal. And it's a found footage film that is over an hour long, and they just threw it out there. I think they had done like a 10-minute-ish short horror film before this. I didn't watch that, but it had been on my list. And so many people said that, oh, hey, that was really good, that they decided to just do a whole full-blown movie. And Milk and Cereal is this movie they made. It's found footage. It's about like, oh, it's this dude's birthday, and his other friend is like, they have a YouTube prank channel where they play pranks on each other. And so he decides to do a prank on his birthday. And something happens that isn't a part of the prank. But then the original guy thinks, oh shit, this is part of the prank, when it's not. And so then you delve further and further into this horror story where like one guy just thinks, oh, this is all a prank. It's not actually happening. And everyone else is trying to convince him that it is. And it just gets more and more disturbing as you go. And it does have a couple of twists in there. It's pretty good. Pretty good for a YouTube horror film. The acting's good. Like, I've seen shittier found footage horror movies that were made as actual Hollywood movies than this. So if you're ever like, man, I just want to watch something that's slightly creepy and you got an hour, go for it. Or you can just watch their other YouTube videos that are funny. But I like seeing this. I like seeing YouTubers actually take on bigger projects. Because, I mean, that's how we got... shit, I forgot what that hand movie's called.
Addams Family.
What's it called, Stephanie? No, the...
hand
Dead.
movie.
Talk to me.
Oh,
The Rocket Crew. So I'm all for like, more people making more stuff, even if it's on YouTube. I do think this movie got overhyped. Like if you were on TikTok or if you look at any reviews, people are like, "Oh my god, this is amazing" or whatever. And maybe it's because they've just watched shit fucking YouTube horror videos like that one we watched, Jake. Because compared to that, yeah, it's a fucking godsend. But compared to just regular horror movies, this is all right.
Movies are bad.
I mean, not all movies, but like I said, October's coming up. If at any point you got an hour and you're like, there you go. And that's it for movies. Jake and I each only have one show, so Stephanie, why don't you go ahead and start it off?
All right, so I'm going to start off with the thing that was most exciting, and also to the thing that just had me just over the moon for a while. So I watched Kimi Todoki. I think this is technically season 3, but the way that it's like, first season was like 24 episodes or something like that. But they followed up with this, and this has been like over 10 years, it feels like, since they've done anything with Kimi Todoki. And this is just one of the cutest rom-coms ever. Like one of the best animes that is still like my comfort anime that I go back to like every once in a while. So it was amazing to see the new episodes. I did not like that they made them like hour long and there was like only 5. I was like, "Oh my god, why would you do this?" But still all the amazing characters, still follows the manga, I believe, and also too like it's just so nice and it's just so amazing. Like I just I would just highly recommend if you all haven't watched it. I know it might not be your speed, but it's just beautiful. Beautiful and everything.
What is Kimi ni Todoki? Other than like you said, it's a rom com, but
Yes, and so it is called From Me to You, and it's an anime. And basically, it looks at well, it's a shoujo anime to be precise. So it looks perspective of I guess like a high school girl and her just navigating like high school, and also to her navigating what it looks like to have friends, and also too, like, a love interest, and also too, like, looking at what she wants to do, like, later on, and so I really just love it, and I'm just so sad that I feel like this is all they're gonna do with it, but I'm like, there's, like, so much that happens in the manga, so it's just amazing.
so then this was like an old show that had the first 2 seasons way back, and then like they didn't do anything for years, and what you just watched like just came out, or
Yeah, so they hadn't done anything with it for a while, but then I don't know who picked it up, but somebody had picked it up, and then Netflix was like, "Oh, heck yeah, we need this," and so they actually like, put out kind of the next few episodes that would happen in the manga. So nobody touched it, and then they brought it back because of, I guess, kind of the cult following it has. So Kimi ni Todoki, again, came out a long time ago and even longer for the manga, but it still has a pretty big following. And also too, like, a lot of the aesthetics or a lot of the manga panels are, like, used a lot on TikTok, and also too, they're used a lot on, like, just different things too. So, like, there's, like, a whole sticker collection, there's all other stuff, so, like, you'll see it on TikTok in, like, "Oh, hey, I really like this," as, like, an anime to get into, and then you'll see, like, "Oh, hey, I really like this," as in, like, art journaling or something like that. And so, it's just, like, kind of mainstream in some ways.
and so it's not done yet anyway.
Nah, I think it is. Like, it's not done well, I think it's done actually as a manga, but I think for, like, the anime, they're not gonna do anything with it going forward. I hope they do. Maybe in another 10 years come out with something else, but I don't think they are.
Well, since you got 3, run another one.
Alright, so I guess just going really quickly, I feel like I'll save Trim Crazy for last, but the Menendez case one, that one was just it's just not a good time.
The
But
monsters,
huh?
the monsters one.
The Menendez one?
Yeah, but it's called Monster, right?
Oh, is it called Monsters? Oh, yeah,
Monsters,
it is, yeah,
the
yeah.
Eric and whatever Menendez. All right, Jake, did you know about this case about the Menendez brothers?
I do not participate in things that are actively disastrous to my mental health.
Okay, no, because I didn't know about this either, but
Fair.
literally everyone around me knew. Like Stephanie told me, "Hey, you should watch this," and then my dad saw that I had it up, and he knew it. Jocelyn knew it. Kai knew it. My mom knew it. And then like I asked Stephanie, and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is like a huge famous trial that like Like, apparently, this is known knowledge that you and I are the only two that didn't know anything about, apparently. But anyways, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so just like just like Robert had pointed out, it is based off of a famous case that happened, I believe, in like the 90s. Yeah. And basically it just goes over what happens when I don't know, you grow up in like a really rich family. No, I'm just kidding. Basically the whole case is based off of a movie that's called like The Billionaire Boys Club. And that's literally how the brothers got the idea to act out the crime that they committed against their parents.
Yeah, these dudes watched a movie where these rich kids killed their parents for the money, and they're like, hey, yo, we have rich parents.
And we can kill them for money.
If I ever win the lottery, I think I'm going to actively force my lifestyle to not change.
No one will know.
No one will know.
There will be signs.
Bruh.
Jake, why do you have 2 PlayStation 5s? Well, the hard drive and the other one filled up, and I feel like replacing it.
I mean, I started watching this show too. It's very... I don't know if... It feels kind of gross watching it because it's written like a soap opera almost, but it's based off a real case. Like, it feels like if American Horror Stories, you know how they do those criminal charge ones? I imagine this is what the Menendez trial would look like if it was written by them. Where it goes all over the place and it's... And I get it, they're terrible people, killed their parents and all that. But like, some of these storylines, I'm like, you guys had to have made this shit up. Like, there's no way all this is known about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I guess also too, just to add context. So with this specific documentary, it is being narrated. So it will go into narration and then it will go into like the actual scene. So if you do think of like true crime documentaries, it'll be like, oh, the narrator, and then it'll actually have like a reenactment. That's what this follows. But the narrator is like a Vanity Fair writer who also just so happened to have his daughter, I guess, be murdered. And so you can also see that he has a very biased view and a very, like, it makes sense. And so you see that throughout the whole TV series, which is a little disturbing, but also to make sense since he is a writer, he is a journalist, and his whole profession is getting people to speculate and talk about what the heck is going on. And this was in the 90s. And so it wasn't a point where you could just go online and be like, oh, okay, then this is what's happening specifically with this case.
Yeah. I mean, Jake, if you avoid things that are bad for your mental health, avoid this one. But I feel like that just applies to all true crime for you.
I live my life in constant fear of my cat. I don't need to be living in constant fear of other people.
Fair. Well, why don't you tone it down a bit with something more lighthearted, Jake?
Nah, this shit gave me PTSD. I've been watching Superstore because it's a really good throw on the background TV show.
Oh my gosh, sorry, that was like really loud. I always just wanted to watch that, and I'm like, is it worth it? Anyway.
Yes, it's worth it.
It's really funny. It's really funny, and it hits me in a personal way due to me working in a grocery store for 8 years. Like, there's an episode where they're like, the new guy's like, hey, that guy in another department really looks like he needs some help. And everybody else in his department's like, yeah, don't help him. You'll get dragged into all of his bullshit for the rest of the day. And he's like, well, no, we're a team and we should be helping each other. So I'm going to go help him. And then it ruins the rest of his fucking day, and he has an absolutely miserable shift. Because this dude's like, oh, this guy's willing to help me? Hey, here's all my work. And it just like brings me back to the day where I was working in produce. And then they're like, hey, we're slammed up front. We need extra baggers. And I was like, I don't really know how to do that, but okay, sure, I'll go help. And then it was the most miserable shift of my fucking life because I just don't know how to bag fucking groceries. And it's way harder than anybody ever told me it would be. And I'm fucking everything up. And it's a nightmare. And I hated it. And I fucking slam dunked this lady's avocados into the fucking floor and then put it back in her bag before she could notice.
That's impressive. I feel like I would notice if avocados fell down because avocados are very easily bruised.
On the inside, on the outside, if they're rock hard, nope.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, I'd be like, hey, bitch, did you just destroy my fucking avocados?
It was like a $9 bag, too. Get fucked.
Jesus.
The show's really funny, though. It's got America Ferrera, I think her name is.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
The lady from Barbie. But it's good. It's like a Walmart equivalent. And it's... What I like about the show is it's not a bunch of like... There's like one teenager that works there. And the rest of them are just full-grown ass adults and elderly people. Because if you look at the breakdown of people working in a grocery store, it's usually a lot of fucking old people that like...
You can say it.
They just can't do anything else. Like, they just didn't learn anything when they were younger, and then they're just kind of there because that's all they have. And it's about all the shitty things about working in a grocery store. Good show. I would recommend.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I remember if you've gone through the whole, I watched The Office, I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I watched 30 Rock, all those. Like, this one's...
I've watched none of those.
Well, I know you haven't, but it's... They're all the same show in a different setting. And they're all good. So, yeah. And I mean, I can't relate to any of them. In fact, I think I'd relate more to Superstore than any of them, just because I've worked retail, but I haven't worked in an office setting. I haven't been a cop, and I haven't worked at City Hall. So,
well, on the Brad side, there's an entire season about COVID, and what a fucking nightmare hellscape it was working in a grocery store during COVID.
You know, I haven't seen that, and I don't know if I want to relive that particular fucking period of time. Because working retail during COVID was fucking awful.
Dude, I literally, like, because our manager was a homie, because everybody kept stealing toilet paper like dumb assholes, he just bought a pallet and then kept it upstairs in the break room for everybody to take like one pallet or like fucking thing of toilet paper. Like, that shit was ass.
I admit, though, that's pretty nice of your manager. Like, dang.
Well, I was the store manager, not my personal manager.
Oh,
that's even nicer.
But what we learned is do not help other people in other departments. They will drown you.
Let me tell you.
Do your job and only your job. No more, no less. But yeah, it's a good show. I like it. If you've been wondering about it, definitely, yeah, just go for it. Throw it on Hulu. After Bob's Burgers has no more new episodes, just flip over to Superstore and call it a day. I think we briefly might have mentioned at one point that we watched the first couple of episodes of Delicious in Dungeon and Mashal. How the fuck do you pronounce that?
Mashal.
Why is it called Mashal? His name's Mash.
It might be Mashal then. I don't fucking know.
I finished the first season. I've discovered that, you know, just watching anime where a bunch of buff dudes work out is the best way to work out. So I've been like watching episodes while I work out, and it's great. So originally it starts off, and I don't know if Jake will like this. Have you seen the whole first season or no?
I've read up until the tournament arc, and then I haven't finished the tournament arc.
Okay. So it is basically the same thing. Homie can't do magic, and so he uses his strength to overcome all these things where he should be using magic. But what that turns into is a lot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure / Baki fucking explanations for how he does things, and that is one of my favorite fucking things. Because it's already funny to see something happen, and you could just leave it at that. Like we already know what happened. But then someone will be like, I saw it, but I can't believe it. He did this, and this. And that's what I love. When like there's a really fucking stupid bullshit explanation for how something that shouldn't have been able to be done is done. And it's just good and it's funny. And I don't know why. Because, and I feel like I might get hate for saying this, I don't think any of these ideas are fresh. But it works.
No, but I think it's executed better than most people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there is nothing new here. It's all shit I've seen before.
I have no expectations for what the show should be, and there's no prior knowledge of what was there to taint my opinion. If the show is stupid and from the start and then continues to be stupid, I am perfectly okay with that.
And yeah, no, that is what it is, and it's really fun. Like, it's just like literally every single trope that it does, I'm like, yeah, I've literally seen this before. And so many things like from JoJo's or most shonen, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I love Harry Potter. Maybe it's because, like Jake said, I have no expectations. I'm just going in like, I'm just here to laugh, and it works. And I think season 2 is already out now, so got that to look forward to.
I don't have the whole series. I need to read it.
You should. It's good. All right, and now a show that we should have watched. We really should have. Riang wanted to watch it. Stephanie told me to watch it. We said we were gonna watch it. The only person who's seen it is Stephanie.
All right, so I know that's my cue to talk about Chimp Crazy. So what do you all know about that?
Nothing. Tiger King, but with the lady about chimps.
Yeah, that's pretty much all Brienne told us. And then you just said, yeah, you got to watch this shit. So tell us why we should be crazy for Chimp Crazy.
Well,
I'm cringing myself. Jesus Christ.
For one, it literally is just that. I guess also too, I didn't know, maybe it is talked about in Tiger King, but that just feels like it was a whole fever dream during 2020. But basically, like the dude who was the director behind Tiger King, like he also owns like exotic animals. Did you all know that? Is that like common knowledge?
The director?
Yes.
No, that is not a common knowledge.
Yeah, I don't, because they don't talk about that in the show. He's not one of the other guys, right? Like, you know how they talk about other people with tigers?
Yeah, I'm like trying to think because I like don't remember. Like if I'm gonna be honest with you, you get to see him, right? And I'm like,
that's kind of wild that you would make a show about like tigers and you show basically all your competition, but then not yourself.
well, here's the thing. I don't think he's like a person that was like, oh, I have this zoo, come to my zoo. Like he has them for his own personal. I don't even know how to.
Oh, so he's just freaky.
He just uses like he just I shouldn't say uses big. Okay, he just has them because he likes looking at them, I guess. Like I think he really views them as pets, even though they're exotic and wild animals.
Even though they should probably not be pets.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just very wild, literally, because I guess he's like going through some of those things. And also to like now that director, I didn't know this, but I guess he has like not to say a stigma, but I guess he has like an infamous title in that community. So people will not talk to him anymore. So they had to hire a proxy director, which I also didn't know was a thing. And this is all in like the first episode. And they explained this like in the first 15 minutes. And so basically there's the original director who was still helping with editing and all of this other stuff and still gaining like, I guess, different interviews with other people, just not going into the specifics of the people who already know him. And so this documentary looks at people who have owned chimps, bred them, sold them, and like have had, I don't know a better way to say this, but like not zoos, but I guess almost like compounds of like monkeys. And like it's varying too. So like I don't know the different like species of monkeys, but they're like small ones, then there's chimps, and I don't think anybody had a gorilla, but also two chimps like vary as well. There's an orangutan too. I don't know. Basically, it looks at the owners of these different, not compounds, but compounds of like animal lovers, I guess, and the decisions that they've made, and then also to like horrendous things that have happened. And so this is also
Yeah, I think I'd be more scared of monkeys than lions and tigers.
for real. So also, maybe you all have heard of this too. It's a pretty popular case, but the woman who got her face ripped off by a chimp and then like went on Oprah and all of this other stuff.
Uh, they mention it in some movie or TV show, so that's why I know. But that's about all I know. I don't really know what the case is.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, that's all I knew too. I didn't know the circumstances of how she was in that position, I guess. And so it goes through like all of that. And there have been like numerous cases where the same thing has happened. And so it's just bananas to be like, oh, okay, then like people will have chimps, something terrible will happen, and then they still want to have them, even though they're like, oh, wait a minute, like I do not have the proper care for monkeys. And I guess also too, right? Like, I don't know if you all remember, but there used to be like a lot of monkeys in like movies in the 90s.
George of the Jungle, let's go.
George of the Jungle, also too, Babe, Pig in the City, and then there's like another popular one, but I forgot what it's called. So there also was like a whole other side of like training animals to like be in movies, and chimps was a big one. And so I'm pretty sure you both have seen that Atlanta episode, but if not, that's okay. There's like a episode on Atlanta where there's like this chimp that literally just goes rogue, right? Like he's acting and then all of a sudden he like kills this whole family. That's very similar to what is like presented in this documentary, the different cases that come up, and then also to like these animal lovers fighting for the rights to still have these animals, since in the United States there is not like federal regulations of owning exotic animals. And so like I just don't want to spoil a lot, but there is just so many things where you're like, what the heck is going on? And the director is a complete hypocrite, and I don't know, he just betrays like the main person they're interviewing, and I'm like, dude, like this is literally your documentary. Like you didn't think like maybe to wait this out. Like it's just wild. And so if it's something you're interested in, if you're like, oh dang, Tiger King was an interesting thing, Jim Crazy is like very similar, but also to like I feel like more dark. And so more to come.
Noted.
Yeah, no, see the thing about monkeys is they can like open doors and shit, and that's what I'm like. Like I'm sure a tiger could take down a door, but there's something about living in a place where monkeys could just come into your room at night that I'm just not okay with.
What about a cat that can come into your room at night, just about the door being closed whenever?
See, I also don't like that. Like I think no, because I was gonna say I'd keep my cat in my room at night just so that it's already there, but then
You
he
can
can
also
just
get
leave. Yeah, I don't. I like my door to remain closed when I'm sleeping.
I literally can't. There's no point.
Yeah, see, that's not. I can't do it.
Why not? My door doesn't even lock, bro.
Yeah. See, that's not. I prefer sleeping somewhere where I can lock the door at all times, which I don't always get the opportunity to. Because like if I'm staying at your place or if I'm somewhere else, crashing on a couch or something, sucks to suck. But
Sleep with my windows open, bro.
I've slept with my window open in my room. Like, I just need the door locked. But yeah, I mean, we'll probably get around to it eventually. Shrimp Crazy. 'Cause I know Brienne wants to watch it and can't wait to be scared of something else.
This man lives his life in constant fear.
Do you not?
No.
Well,
I tell you, there's a dude that was just like running through our backyard looking into people's windows like a couple weeks ago. Oh, and I think a lady got murdered on my street yesterday.
And that
I'm sorry.
caused no fear to enter your system.
The fuck am I supposed to do about it? Move?
Well, I mean, but you're just like, not scary.
What am I supposed to do about it?
I don't know. Sometimes you can't do something about something. It still scares you. Sometimes I have to sleep in a room that I can't lock and I'm scared. But I still go to sleep eventually.
And sometimes people own monkeys that they've had since birth, and then all of a sudden, like, they just wig the fuck out, and then that's it. Game over.
Yeah, see, nah. Like, imagine being a kid and you're just like, oh yeah, that's normal.
I have that irrational fear about dogs, but that's because they're cute.
Also, too, sorry, this is the last thing about it. Like, there are like kids that grow up with the monkeys too, and that's just like I could not imagine. I was like, that needs to be like a psychology topic. Anyway, literally though, one of the ladies was like, I love these chimps more than I love my own kids. And then
That's
it will
nice.
like pan to like the child, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she said on live television.
Yo, fuck them kids.
Okay. I've been excited to hear about this book since last time because I think you were going to talk about it and then you didn't. What's Pen Pal about?
Oh dang! Wait. Is everybody done? Nobody had any TV shows or books or what are we?
I watched one TV show.
Yeah, and I got some YouTube videos, but
Oh dang!
we're reading a book, so we won't talk about that now.
Stay tuned. Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'll talk about this really quickly then. But Pen Pal is trending on TikTok and also too trending in like a lot of different like spaces, I guess. Like also on the interwebs or people who are just really into like horror books. This one kind of like takes the cake, and basically it is about a kid that has this project. This is an elementary school, and basically it's like creating a pen pal, but the way that they do it is they actually add a note to a balloon and then they release the balloons, and whoever finds that balloon is now going to be the pen pal for a 6-year-old kid.
Okay. So real quick, they put the school's address on them, right? Not their own address.
Right, it's the school's address. And also too, it like explains the project too. And like they give them $1 so that they can buy postage stamps, and I don't know what time zone this is based in, but basically so that they are actually able to communicate with these kids.
Okay.
And basically that's how like this whole book starts, with that being the premise, and then also too not knowing who the pen pal is and the pen pal being really sketchy and all of the really just not okay things that happen throughout his childhood, and he's like reflecting back on that. And during, I guess, the exact same time, he's also like talking about like different police reports, etc. And then at the end, you're able to be like, oh, okay, this is what happened with all of this. And I don't know, it's not one of those books that are like, oh, like there's not a whole lot of gore, there's not a whole lot of like, I guess, just like wondering things. It's just like, damn, like I wonder how many things were like in the 90s that were seen as like harmless, or now it would be like, why would you ever do that? Like, I just cannot imagine. So, it's
So then
really
it's one of those 6-year-old kids looking back on what happened then?
yes.
Okay. And this isn't based on a real story, is it?
I hope not.
Okay. I was like, I don't know. Maybe another fucking Netflix documentary coming out soon. Okay. I might. You know, I've been needing to read some creepy books lately.
It's also a pretty quick read. Like, it's not too long.
Say less. And I am curious, what is Blue Box manga?
All right, so Blue Box is going to actually have an anime that's going to be premiering, I think, next month, which is like wild. But really, I guess I'll go through it really quickly. It is like a love story, and it's between this one high school student on the badminton team and then this girl on the basketball team, and how they interact and all of this other stuff that happens. And it actually is really good. And I guess this manga is like featured on so many like people's like YouTube's like top 20 or whatever. And so I was like, I wonder if it's really that good. But
Is it older?
I don't think it's like too old, but there's over I think 140 chapters. So it's been out a while.
I mean, yeah, decent amount, 140 chapters. You know, I don't know how into the rom-com. Is it even rom-com or is it just rom?
Well, it's like, yeah, some things are funny. I think it's more like a drama too, though.
You're like, actually, shit gets real fucked real quick.
In some cases, yeah. So, but like
Trigger warnings.
not like that bad. Not like Blood on the Tracks where you're like, what the fuck is happening?
I feel like that whole author just needs a fucking trigger warning.
He made
For
my top 10 last year. Actually,
That's
didn't he make
true.
my piece of media of the year?
He might have. He
I think
might
he
have.
did.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
Fucking
Flowers of
wild.
Evil was my favorite thing I consumed last year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We all need therapy. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
I like the anime a lot. I don't know if I'd give a fuck about the manga as much.
Well, like I said, I was on a YouTube grind. I was watching a lot of animations and stuff. I'll do a shout out to Dungeon Soup in general. That whole channel is pretty good. If you like D&D, you're gonna love those videos. They're just really
I don't.
funny. You don't like D&D?
Nope.
Damn, bro, Dungeon Soup not for you. But if you do, they're really fucking funny. And if you don't, they're still really fucking funny. Just a bunch of fucking animations related to not necessarily, well, it is D&D, but fantasy, I guess. So, but two pieces of animation that I really want to shout out is there's a small animated film. It's called I'm guessing Playoff. It's spelled PXAY off. It's a YouTube video made by Marco Cardenas. And if you don't know, you might be like, wow, this is a nice, cool looking animation. Probably very much based off Powerpuff Girls. That's definitely the inspiration. But if you do know, this is Panty and Stocking all the way, baby. It's pretty good. Just a 6-minute animated short film about someone trying to get their rent money. So watch that. And then the other one, have you guys heard of Hilda? Even if you haven't watched it?
I have, yeah.
Okay. Well, it turns out the animator of Hilda has a YouTube channel called, got a long name. It's Don't Walk Home Alone After Dark. And he does these little horror animations. And I watched one called The Worm. It's a 15-minute horror short. And like I said, it looks like Hilda. So if you like that animation, these are just short little horror stories that I am very fond of. And since, the spooky month is coming up, figured I'd shout them out. There's also like not much, they're short videos, so there's not really much to say without spoiling the whole thing. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say. And I think that's it for the day.
Congratulations. You did it.
Woo!
We have done it again. This next Halloween episode, It's going to be epic because we're all going to be talking about spooky things.
No, I decided I'm not going to consume anything spooky. You're right. I do need to be living in fear constantly all the time. Why would I do that on my free time?
I feel like the game you're playing is spooky enough. But yeah, I mean, that's that. So y'all are both playing Squirrel Stapler.
Stable these nuts.
It's not a scary game, Jake. And I know it's tagged as horror, but you know, it's... Oh shit, this came out in 2023?
Squirrel Stapler?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Haunted Demo Disc 2022, I think.
Bruh, he literally released it on 9/11.
Yo.
Type of guy. All right, let me turn this off, and then I'll tell you what the funniest...
Do we not have to say bye? Are we done?
Oh, we haven't said bye. Just congratulations. That's true.
End it.
All right.
Call it.
Thanks for being here for another episode.
It's been
See you guys next time.
See ya.
I do think somebody got murdered up my street, though.
Like today or this week, you said?
Like yesterday.
Was it cops or?
The entire street had cops parked on both sides all the way up, and then there was a police medical examiner.
Ooh.
Which usually means nothing good.
Yeah, no, and that is literally like hop and skip away.
Yep. It was literally right behind my apartment complex.
Yeah, no,
my neighbor.
I remember I dropped someone off there once. Because I didn't want them to know where I lived.
I noticed it when I went for a walk yesterday.
Well, nothing to get you into the spooky mood like
Foul play.
Real fear.
Or bleep where the fuck I live.